All right, Justin Steele. So our friend Michael Cerami wrote about it at Bleacher Nation. Justin Steele was on the Locked On podcast and was actually the guy. They just asked him straight up, like, if you had contract extension talks, and he's like, no. Okay, so he's like, I personally haven't had any talks about it. So Cerami puts out this hypothetical of how about his 6-year for 96. Did you see that one? Which would be like the 3 years coming up plus 2 or 3 more at like $22 million each. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. He does deserve it. Mm-hmm. There's no question. Justin Steele deserves extension talks. Right now you have him under control though through his age 31 season. 3 more years of control. That's about as valuable of something as you can hang on to in Major League Baseball. An ace that's not making a ton of money. Let me rephrase that. That's not making a ton of money in baseball terms. He's still making a ton of money, obviously, compared to the rest of the world. But in baseball terms, an ace can be making way more than he is making. So that is super beneficial to the team, especially if they're going to operate more like a small market team or a mid-market team than a major market team. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with the Bellinger Doe. We don't know if that's going back into the team to add to it, give us a reliever, give us a third baseman, give us another bat. We don't know. Would you hate the idea, Cody, of taking some of that money and giving it to Justin Steele? Because as Cerami points out in the article that he wrote at Bleacher Nation, yes, the Cubs are getting incredible flexibility out of this right now. But if you look at Justin Steele and say, even beyond 31, we believe Justin Steele is going to be the guy. Mm-hmm. And you look at what Max Fried just got, 218 for ages like 31 to 38. You'd be saving a lot of money if you locked him up for, just increasing his pay because he's going to get some raises because of arbitration anyway. You would save money in the long run that way. Mm-hmm. Would you be okay with taking some of that dough and giving an extension to Justin Steele right now?
Well, let's kind of go over some stuff here. He's 29 as of today. His birthday's in July, so he'll be 30 in the middle of next season, right? As you pointed out, he's on a very, very friendly situation right now. He's going to make $6.5 million in 2025. I mean, right? It's such a steal for the Cubs.
That's only double what you're making. I mean, that's the kind of.
Don't let the facts get in the way. What I do an extension with Justin Steele. Again, he has after the season he'll have 2 more years of arbitration, right?
Yeah. Okay, all right. So three more years through 2027. They've got him, right. and Steven's got the numbers to back up just how good he's been. I mean, he's been last couple of years. He's been spectacular, as good as anybody in baseball.
Right.
ERA like basically hovering right at 3, and obviously without injuries, there's a chance he can. I still think Justin Steele can be in a Cy Young conversation.
Sure. Yeah, I mean. For me, I would definitely be in for an extension. I guess for me, the only concern I have is the years, just because this is nothing against him because I'm a huge fan, but he was a late bloomer, he's 29 and he's in year 3 technically in terms of the service time, right? So. And as much as I agree with you about Cy Young and like being a top of the rotation guy, he has been hurt each of the last 2 years. And so, he's had Tommy John in the past. My thing is just the years. You want to give him a 5-year extension? I'm here for it. That's where I'm at. 5 years. You get him from 30 to 35. Like I'm very open to that. I wouldn't go more than 5 years though. And I don't think that I don't think that he would even be looking for anything more than 5 years, considering the age, that he is at right And even though he's been great these last 2 years, it's not like he has a large body of work compared to some guys who enter free agency when they hit the free agency market, right? It's hard to project these types of numbers. What Cerami did, sure, like,
yeah, I mean, it's hypothetical.
I think that's still a great deal considering the value that he's giving you. Yes, right. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here, and it's also you're doing right by a homegrown player who's been awesome for you, and he's being significantly underpaid at this point. Like, just do the guy right. You know what I mean? So, that's basically where I'm at. I think he deserves an extension, and I think he's earned one. And I'm not saying here we should give him some large deal, but you are basically getting him on such a, like, this is more than team friendly right now, right? So I think that he certainly, they should at least be having these discussions. The fact that the Cubs aren't even having discussions with him right now is, honestly, if I was him, I'd be pissed. So we've seen it way too many times in the past, man. Like, do right by your players, especially, like, this is such an organizational win in terms of development. This organization used to be known for not being able to develop pitching. This guy was drafted in 2014, went through a bunch of ups and downs, had Tommy John, all that, and he still has crafted out a great major league career to this point. Like, do what's right, in my opinion. Like, do what's right. And if you at least start negotiations now or sometime before the season, and it turns into something in season, or maybe it's next year, whatever. All I'm saying is don't force fans to have to sit here in his walk year and discuss if they are going to extend him or not. Like, just get this done now.
Yeah, don't you remember him having the fire going into the dugout last year? Like, it's difficult for a pitcher, especially a starter who doesn't play every day, to be a leader on the team. But I think Justin Steele is that guy. I also think if you were to go to him with a deal, and I haven't asked him this, I'd be curious, but, like, if you offer the guy $100 million of locked up guaranteed money, this is a guy who likes to go out and go fishing. This is a guy who likes to go out and enjoy the outdoors and watch college football. I don't think he's sitting there saying, I'm waiting for the $300 million. Like, $100 million is going to set up a family for a long time. Like, I think you guys could find something in there. He said he's obviously willing to listen and see if it makes sense if the Cubs were to come to him. I'm curious if two things. One, if Jed Hoyer is not, like, is it possibly it's a year early or a half a season early? Like, he's gone. Steele said, I think if it would happen, it'd probably happen at spring training. Would not be against it. Just like I wasn't against it for Happ. I wasn't against it for Nico Horner, because you were locking up guys at pretty safe deals that shouldn't handicap your organization, and they do things the right way. Steele's exactly the same thing, only he's a pitcher, not an everyday player. It's possible the Cubs think as a business it's maybe a year too early to have that conversation. And I'd understand that from their perspective, because pitchers get hurt so badly. But I seem to land on your side of it. This is the time to show the rest of the league that you're going to take care of your guys. If he's into doing it and he's willing to give you that discount, because it would be a discount on his side too to sign this, because Max Fried just showed you he could wait till he's 31, and if Max Fried is getting $218 million this year, 3 years from now, what is Justin Steele going to get? He's still going to get a really big contract. If he keeps putting these numbers out, he's probably out of your price range. To be realistic, like, in 3 years, if this contract goes out, I don't think they'd pay Justin Steele. I think they'd let him go in free agency, and they would hope that Horton and some of these young guys develop and they have younger contracts. That would be disappointing. That would be disappointing to develop the guy and then just see him go. Not that other teams don't do it. So,
right.
I think you should do the guy right.
I may have, like, pushed a little bit that, he's been hurt the last couple of years, this and that.
That's true.
But it's true. It's objectively true. Let's be honest, though. Last year, the injury wasn't arm related. It was him trying to field a
freak injury.
It was him trying to field a swinging bunt or whatever it was in Texas, right?
Made me almost throw up on opening day.
Same. I don't like to throw up in public, so I kept it in. Credit to me.
Right, we kept the hurl to ourselves.
but yes, I know at the end of last year, me and you both were like, don't play him because of whatever was going on with the shoulder, and then he came back and pitched. Whatever, he felt great. He's healthy going into the spring. I've seen Rich Beasterfield post photos of him slinging the pigskin out there in Arizona with the team, the guys who were there. Like, he looks healthy, right? So whatever, that's fine with me. But I think from a Cubs perspective, I do think that they probably want to see one more year of really solid contribution. And 30 starts 2 years ago, 24 starts last year. He still put up basically the same type of numbers. He had an expected ERA under 3, if the expected numbers mean anything to anyone. But yeah, I don't, even if he does go to free agency, I don't think he's going to be getting something like $200 million like Max Fried did, but I could be wrong. Who knows where the market is in 3 years, by the way, also, Yeah. And so there's a lot of factors that go into this. At the end of the day, though, like, if this guy continues to perform, like, it'd just be nice to see the Cubs do right by this guy. I mean, they did right by Ian Happ. You can argue all you want about the Nico Horner thing, because they basically just bought out the arbitration years, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But like, we all still have a little PTSD from the core guys from 16, right? Like, whether it was the right decision or not to move on from those dudes, which obviously in hindsight, yes, Schwarber might be the only one, not even might, like, Schwarber's the only one that you probably are like, you probably should have found a way to keep him. But and I guess Rizzo too. But the thing that I'm getting at here is that it's just, when are you going to keep your own, right? Like you developed this guy as a great win for your organization. I just feel like it from that perspective, it makes a lot of sense. So I do think, again, like, the Cubs probably want one more year. And maybe their payroll is different going into 2020, going into 2026, because my other tinfoil hat theories, as is yours, is like, where's the money? Like, are we pocketing the 40-some million left?
Show me the money.
And if they have to if Jed Hoyer is forced to pocket this or to not spend a certain amount of money here, going into 25, then, like, I can't blame him for that. We don't know, right? So it is what it is. But that's another factor that goes into it. Like, I still expect them to spend that money. Should it be number one on their priority list right now, the Justin Steele extension? No. But I do think it's something that they need to start at least having conversations with him about, because I think taking that step it shows him that they want him long term. And it almost happened with Javi Baez, and the pandemic happened, and I'm not going to rehash all that, right? But they had the conversations going. We need to at least get to that point at some point.
Start the conversation.
Yes.
Corey.
We all silly like the mayor.